And welcome to another episode of Jersey Match Chat. I'm Pete, this is Doug, and today we have special guests on today. We have Charlie Esposito and Johnathon McGinty, two wrestlers, and I think this story goes that they wrestled freshman year at 106, and one of them stayed on even though the other one beat him off in a wrestle-off?
Yeah, friends who attended the same high school as freshmen in the same weight class. One beat the other one out. The one who lost stuck around and became a two-time state placer the next 2 years. Never skipped a beat.
So we thought it was really interesting that this guy had the vision to stick around with these Hammers instead of trying to transfer schools and get a starting gig somewhere else. And it turned out to be the best case scenario. So looking forward to learning from them. Let's welcome in Charlie and Johnathon.
New Jersey!
You know, let's start talking about the kids who aren't ever talked about.
Exactly. Welcome to Jersey Match Chat. Today, we're here with Johnathon McGinty and Charlie Esposito. Tell us a little bit about these guys.
Well, they're two Hammers.
Big
North
Hammers.
Jersey Hammers.
Yeah.
SJR, number one team in New Jersey. What do you guys ranked in the country?
On Flow, I'm ranked 6th.
Okay.
Right now I'm not ranked, but I was ranked before season.
Okay, so we got two nationally ranked kids on definitely a nationally ranked team, best team in New Jersey. Very interesting story about them, which I found intriguing enough to ask them to come on.
Yeah.
I think it's cool how you guys got a good bond, right? Good friends?
Yeah.
And you guys were rivals when you were little, and you came up into high school, and we'll get into that. But the reason I wanted Mr. McGinty to come on is because I know he's I know his dad, and I know he's I've tried to talk to him a few times, and he doesn't say much. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get his ass. I'm going to get his ass on here, and I'm going to make him talk.
It's a good platform.
Now, Charlie, I don't know Charlie as well as I know John, but I know Charlie enough to know that they're good friends. He's got a great story, and I'm really interested in for him sharing things about that.
For anyone out there that doesn't know, the school you guys wrestle at, St. Joe's, right?
Yeah.
St. Joe's Regional.
SJR, right?
SJR.
Okay,
Yeah,
beautiful.
They're like a D2 team.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know about them, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get into that too. You guys are awesome.
Now, freshman year, you tell me about that. That was the big story, right?
Well, yeah, freshman year. Now, I'm curious about a lot of things. So now, who committed to SJR first?
Well, Charlie went to the 8th grade program there.
Okay.
Which is for most holdbacks you can
Okay.
go there, and it's basically 10 people kind of just do school there, and then you go to St. Joe's for next. So he was pretty much the first person to go.
Is that the Scorpion School?
No, it's at St. Joe's.
Is there a Scorpion school that does that something similar,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so it wasn't that. Okay,
No.
so you were already committed, and then did you commit to SJR right off the bat, or were you considering other high schools?
Yeah, I was considering Del Barton, Bergen Catholic, St. Joe's.
Okay.
All those schools, and I kind of took a visit there. I was visiting with Jimmy Mullen. He's a well-known guy.
Stud. Yeah, stud.
So I had a lot of fun there, and compared to all the other schools I went to, I thought St. Joe's was the best fit for me, and they're very welcoming. So as a school, I really kind of wanted to go to.
Okay. Now, when did you know you were going to St. Joe's?
So when I was in middle school, I went to Apex, and Damian Logan was the athletic director there, so he kind of guided me.
Yes. That's right.
He guided me in the right path, and it was really between my brother went to DePaul, and I was in between them, but it was really there was no competition when I toured at St. Joe's.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So when here's what I love though. So you came in, you guys both came in, you kind of both knew you were going to go 106, right? Now, did you guys wrestle off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so he beat you in the wrestle off.
Yeah.
But what you did, you went in. I know when you go into power schools, I get how you know you're always looking behind your back. They're going to bring in a new kid the next year. Yeah. But what impressed the shit out of me is that you lost a wrestle off. You basically, let's face it, it comes down to postseason. So you didn't have a postseason your freshman year, none.
Right.
He was watching the sidelines.
Yep.
All right. First of all, it's incredible that he thought high enough about his own ability to even go to a school to say, you know what, I'm going to challenge this kid for a spot, and vice versa. They were both Hammers their whole life.
Yeah.
He loses. Okay, he goes on and he places in the States and does a great job as a freshman, and then he waits his turn, and then comes back as a sophomore. And what do you do as a sophomore?
I placed at Beast, Powerade. I blowed around and escaped the rock, and then took fifth in states.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Like freshman year, fuck it.
Wow.
I don't need it. You know what I mean? No,
And that's without being ranked, right? Because you can't be ranked till you get into next year.
Yeah,
right?
rankings are irrelevant. The point
Yeah.
is that most kids are transferring out. They're
Yeah.
pissed off. They're bitter. But not only that, but he did that, and then they stayed tight.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, listen, guys, I remember being your age, and I value the friendships I had with my buddies, and I'm still friends with some of them, and I'm 52. I don't know if I could be friends with someone that beat me in a wrestle-off. I know, and I'm not saying that like to be, to put him under pressure, you under pressure, but that's awesome that you guys could do that.
Yeah.
And still remain competitive and still work to get, because after you lost the wrestle-off, your job was to what? In the room.
Still train.
Get him better?
Yeah.
Be a good partner for him?
Yeah.
Dude, that's like,
That's actually my question.
That's
'Cause
badass, man.
It's kind of fun. We have a
badass.
similar story, which is kind of funny. So, Doug's son is 106, or wrestled 106 in the postseason this year, and my son was 106 in high school this year. And my son went into the school knowing that he wasn't going to wrestle the postseason because he wasn't even close to Luke, right? But the funny thing is, my son comes home and he's like, "Dude, I wrestled this kid Luke, bro. I got nothing for him." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's awesome. He's your weight?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my God, that's great, dude. That's phenomenal, dude. That's you're gonna get to wrestle with him every day." He was like, "Yeah." So iron sharpens iron, right? Did you feel that way when you were there, like that you were gonna just get better regardless?
Yeah, there were so many good kids there. So, and we had a great coaching staff. So I knew I was gonna like increase and get better as the day goes.
so what now, well, how did it, now were you guys as tight then as you are now, or did you get tighter?
Like going into freshman year, like it was definitely a bit awkward.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
We had some classes together, and we kind of
Yeah.
just like got closer as like the
What,
years
what,
went on.
what was that just a natural progression of hanging out every day, or?
Just like kind of like seeing each other in school, we kind of just like
Okay.
grew a bond and
Okay, no, that's I love it.
Yeah.
So what now? when was the spot officially earned that year?
we wrestled off like twice, really, like December,
Okay,
and then we wrestled once before the postseason.
right before the postseason. So there was a chance he could have beat you, and you could not have gone to the postseason.
Yeah.
There was that chance, though. Interesting.
Wow.
Now let's try to go back and relive that. Let's say hypothetically he beats you. Are you still friends today? Be honest.
For me,
it's all good.
I'm definitely a competitor, and
Okay.
it definitely would have hurt
Of
a lot to not
course,
wrestle my
of
freshman year.
course, it would have hurt.
So I'm not sure.
Okay,
But
okay.
it definitely things would be a little bit different. I think we'd still be friends now.
Okay.
But, in the moment, I
got
don't
you.
know how I'd feel.
No, that's I was telling him before you guys came on. I am, and I'll look in the eye. That impresses the shit out of me, and I don't know how it won't impress college coaches. How it doesn't impress anybody. Like that's the ultimate. It's not like you stink, man. Like you're a 2-time state placer. You're a finalist now, and that freshman year means jack shit.
Yeah.
It's proof that it doesn't mean anything. It's always good to do well as a freshman, of course.
Yeah.
Anytime you wrestle, you want to do well and win. But that's just proof it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
He
think
proved
training
it.
with all those animals
He
is always
proved
the
it.
best, right?
That is it's such a unique story. I'm sure this has happened in other programs, but I don't know of any significance like this one is because the way he bounced back, I thought was like super impressive.
Looking back at it, what do you guys think now? Would you have done the same thing over and over again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
No regrets. I think everything happens for a reason. I think I was really happy that he stuck around and thought he didn't know if he would transfer. Or
Did it
what
ever
was-
enter your mind? Be honest.
Maybe a little bit, but I knew like that I was gonna like get better like throughout the year. So I just like stuck it
Yeah, I got you.
through it.
Now, going into sophomore years, let's face it, you guys are around the same size now.
Yeah.
How does that work? Did you guys talk about it the following year? Like, let's not wrestle off?
I kind
How
of
does that
just
work?
got bigger,
Okay.
and it was kind of like the assumption that I was going to go 13, and he was going to slide in at 106, and it worked out well. for
Okay.
us, so.
So who's the naturally, you guys are right around the same size. Whatever the weight you told me out there, okay, fine. But even though you weigh more, like, he's got the frame to be bigger than you.
Yeah.
He's got the frame to be bigger. So are you making any attempts to get much bigger, or are you just going to just go with it?
I mean, yeah, I've been going to the gym a little bit and trying to like definitely increase my size because
Yeah.
like it's a big factor in wrestling, but
course.
definitely not trying to like push it too much.
But I mean, to avoid you're better friends now than you were 2 years ago. To
Yeah.
avoid that all over again, Or do you guys make a conscientious effort of saying, you know what, John, man, I think come on, man, next year I'll go.
Yeah.
Look, I know you guys do it to what degree.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is in our minds. It's, you know, we're definitely going to figure it out next year. You know, now that we have our JoJo, he's getting a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's like 35 now?
yeah, he's
That's
big.
the rumor on the street.
Yeah, he's pretty
he's
big.
35, yeah.
And, you know, now that we have him, it's even bigger controversy. You know, there's 3 of us. We don't know which way we're going to go next year, who's going to go where, but something we're going to figure out. We don't really want to.
You got to make it work.
We don't want to cause problems. So
Of course.
We'll figure it out.
So what's being in a program like SJR, I know there's team, of course, you want to do well at team, but when it comes to selecting your weight, are you guys ever selfish saying that I'm going to do better at 20 or the team's going to do better at 26? And I'm just using those weight classes loosely. What factors in that decision?
You know, like with our team, it's hard to go up or down. You know, we got hammers up and down.
Of course.
So, you know.
But you're the hammer.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
But, you know, it kind of just, you know, 120 was a perfect weight for me. I wasn't cutting too much weight. And it was pretty much an easy choice. You know, with JoJo 106, Charlie going 113, we kind of just all slid up. And just made it easier for everyone.
Okay. Now, let's just say Charlie was never born. Do you go 13 last year or do you go 20 still?
I don't know. I went Super Leader 2. I went 113. It was a tough cut for me.
You look sucked down.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough cut for me, and kind of just it was an easy choice. I was going to go up for the season, especially with same-day weigh-ins.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tentatively, you're going to be 26 next year? You'll be 20?
Most likely.
Is that the plan anyway?
Most likely, yeah.
Okay.
What's your take on that with the weight thing in terms of going, if you had a choice without other people involved, you know, would you rather be the guy that's comfortable during the year and kind of cutting just a little, or do you want to cut as much as you possibly can, really, you think, to get that advantage?
Yeah, it's definitely a choice, like, you got to make, you know, staying disciplined throughout the season with, like, you know, eating the right things. You know, me personally, if I was on a team where I could really pick and choose where I want to go, I definitely want to go what's best for me and what's going to keep me at my best. You know, if I stayed at public school, I'd probably go 113, maybe give it a shot. You know, with the 2-pound growth allowance, you never know. Might be easier there.
Yeah.
But, you know, at a private school, it's really hard to go up or down. Don't want to mess up the lineup. So 120 was the best fit for
I
me.
hear you. Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine having that talent on that team as a coach.
Yeah.
Now, does the coach let you guys figure all that out, top to bottom?
Yeah.
We could pretty much talk about it. You know, we
Yeah.
never really have too many wrestle-offs. We had maybe one this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was one that was in the talks, but never really went down.
I got you.
But, you know, our coaches, they're great. You know, Coach Tom, Coach Frank. We have 2 coaches that really are just drill partners. They're perfect for our upper weights. And then Cooperman's, you know, he's well known in the wrestling world.
Yeah, of course, yeah, he's no
Multiple-time All-American
Yeah,
in
no joke.
college.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
He is legit.
So,
Hey, speaking of which, I love that question you always ask is, what wrestlers did you guys look up to coming up?
like high school,
Yeah.
I really loved kids like, you know, kids in my area, kids that went to Bosco and Bergen. I liked watching Joe Kangro, Kelly Dunnigan, those guys. You know, obviously there's state champs Dean Peterson. It was great to watch.
Yeah.
But, you know, I liked seeing the guys that were taking 3rd place and coming back and, you know, fighting for the next best thing. And as a kid coming into high school, I never really thought that I would be in the state finals. It was definitely something that, you know, you dream about. But, you know, now, like, I'm in that situation. And, you know, I really want to win it next year. So it's kind of crazy to, like, finally be at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How about you? Who did you find yourself?
So my brother
Idolizing.
went to DePaul, so his teammates, like the Cavanias brothers,
Yep.
not sure if you know of them.
Yep.
Some Del Barton guys I used to train with at like Scorpions, like Tyler Vasquez.
Oh, yeah.
And Nico Nardone.
Okay.
He was a hammer back in high school, so yeah, I really looked up to
Okay.
him.
That's interesting. Yeah, because you guys do realize that there are 9, 10, 11-year-old kids that walk past you and think,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah.
guys are seriously.
Yeah,
You guys are friggin' celebrities to some kids. You understand that, right?
In AC, I definitely experienced some of that, you know.
There's a responsibility that comes with that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound like grandpa here, but you know, you guys have to understand someone's always watching. Someone's always watching, and it's almost like you're obligated to have these kids look up to someone worth looking up to, because you guys looked up to someone.
Yeah.
They're going to look up to you, and in 20 years, kids are going to look up to the kids that are looking up to you. It's a full circle kind of thing.
That was kind of the idea of this podcast. Was all these guys have such crazy reputations, and all people know you about is from your stats and your stuff. So it was like, let's give them a platform to just be themselves and see what they're really like off the mat. You know what I'm saying? To get a better vision of who you are on the mat.
Yeah, you're never going to get a newspaper journalist to sit you down and ask you this stuff or give you an opportunity to say these things.
Yeah.
So we think, we kind of wanted to say, hey, we're going to chat for 45 minutes or whatever we talk for, and just talk about everything. Give you guys the opportunity. Now, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it. I'm interested. How did it get there, and how excited are you?
Definitely super excited. It was really the fall competing. I competed in 2 tournaments.
You did have a hell of a fall.
Yeah,
You
Elite
did.
8 and Super 32 were really big for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma reached out finally after Super 32, and Coach Cam Sikora is one of the associate coaches there. Really good guy, with the recruiting process, and made me feel like home when I visited there. And when I visited there, it was awesome. Showing me around the campus, all the opportunities they had for me there. It just felt like home right away. Didn't want to pass up on that opportunity, and I committed right on the spot because something I would regret if I was able to miss out on that. So, I'm still really happy that I'm going there, and definitely really grateful.
Now, what would happen if hypothetically the coaching change, the coach leaves and the whole staff leaves? Would you still keep your commitment to Oklahoma?
It would definitely be something I have to reconsider because, one of their coaches there, Coach Cam Sikora, he's a really great guy. I talk to him on a weekly basis, and, I'm really close with him. And if you were to end up, getting knocked out and not being a coach there anymore, definitely would open my eye and maybe reconsider going there.
Harris is going there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
another important factor for me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Is that all arranged? Is that going to be a roommate or anything, or is that?
Yeah, so freshman year you have to stay in the dorm
Mm-hmm.
with the other freshmen, but afterwards you can get a house outside campus and stay with whoever you want. So
He's a hammer, man.
yeah, he's a great wrestler, great captain as well.
Yeah.
Throughout the year.
So I got a question. Looking back, do you think if you would have made a different decision, you would be somewhere different now? If you would have changed, if you would have said, hey, I don't have that spot, I'm going somewhere else, do you think your career would have been different than where it is?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't really know where I would be, but it would definitely be different. Yeah.
What public school would you attend in your district?
Pequannock.
Pequannock. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a small school?
Yeah, small.
You ain't doing shit there. Yeah, you're not doing shit there. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. What I mean is that you're not going to have the partners, the resources. Yeah. I mean, you would still be a talented wrestler, but I would agree there. So, what anything going on the recruiting angle for you?
Yeah, I mean a little. Ever since States, I've gotten a couple calls.
Of course.
And talking to people, but I'm keeping my options open and just like waiting it out and seeing.
Yeah.
Going on a couple official visits in the next couple months.
Where you going?
Still don't know yet.
Okay.
but,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Where now in terms of college, do you see yourself in an Ivy school? Do you see yourself in a ACC team or a Big Ten team, or where do you envision yourself?
I mean,
Perfect world. Perfect world.
A perfect world. I would like to see myself in like a big name school.
Okay.
And like make an impact on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you guys more focused on your the wrestling, or what are you going to get out of the school afterwards?
Definitely both are a factor, but
Yeah.
like wrestling and academics is like huge for me. But wrestling, I've been just like I grew up with it. It's like a really big part of it.
And how has the NIL stuff changed?
Yeah,
and
for
everything?
me, that's a big part for
Can I borrow some money? Can I borrow some money?
Wrestling now with the NIL, it makes it a way more important factor to want to be focused more on wrestling in college. Now you can actually get paid.
Yeah.
Originally in middle school it was always go to college for an academic, but now with NIL, you can start getting paid in college.
It's a
so
whole different landscape.
Big time.
different game. So
It's crazy. Now, I'm curious. These are general questions I have. Now, when you attend a school like Oklahoma, when you fly to and from Oklahoma, like Oklahoma and home, like do they pay for people who are wondering? Do they pay for those flights, or are you responsible for paying for those flights?
Obviously for the official visit I didn't have to pay, but I went out there again, I had to pay. But when you're in college, I'm sure it's you don't really have to pay.
Yeah, because I don't know these answers, and
They
I'm
kind of
just as
provide
curious.
They have their own travel agencies, so they can provide flights
Okay.
from home and back.
I got you. Okay. Now, when are you? Oh, I keep thinking you're only a junior. I was going
Yeah.
to say when are you going to report to Oklahoma? Holy shit!
Yeah,
That's right.
you still
have
got
a
another
whole-
year, buddy.
Now, do you feel pressure knowing that you're going to Oklahoma? Now, carry that pressure into performance. Does that affect you?
Yeah, it started to affect me a little bit in the beginning of the season. I was nervous going out there, freshly committed, and a lot of people are coming to take my head off, and I feel like I was nervous that Oklahoma wouldn't like me as much if I started to not compete as well, but they reassured me multiple times that I'm their guy, and I'm really grateful that they love me so much. And,
But you're losing at the biggest events in the country, though. You're not losing against Panakwak. And I say that respectfully. You know what I mean? You're losing to these kids. The kids you're losing to now or beating now, you're going to be wrestling them in college for the next, when you're in college for 4 years. So I think the coaches understand that. But I get it. I would be terrified.
Yeah.
I would feel like I have to hold a standard of an Oklahoma. I can't lose. Well, I can't lose to this kid, or I can't lose to this kid. And that's where the rankings come into play. I'm ranked this, he's ranked here, I can't take a loss. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Just they see something in you clearly that they recruited you and they want you. Now, how do you feel about, because listen, they're going to be recruiting your replacement.
Yeah.
You know how that works. So how do you anticipate that's going to go?
Yeah, so a lot of people are like, "Oh, do you want to go to a college where you have to wrestle off multiple guys?" Like, that's all I'm about. I'm willing to go out there and fight for my spot and show that I'm their guy. So I wasn't gonna go to some low end D1 school and have my spot there waiting for me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm willing to show that I'm the guy.
Earn it.
Yeah.
I got you. I love it. No, that's the way. Man, I wish I had that opportunity as a man.
With all this wrestling, what do you guys do besides wrestling?
Wrestle.
Some of the hobbies besides when you're not wrestling.
Come on podcast and talk about
Yeah,
wrestling.
pretty much. I mean, off season we're training like every day. There's not much of a break. We'll hang out here and there and have fun, and but
What do you guys do up North Jersey for kicks? There's no beach.
Yeah.
What do you guys? No, really. What do you guys do up there?
Wrestle.
Just wrestle?
Yeah, I mean,
Is that why you guys are like so good? Just
yeah.
wrestle.
We hang out. We do things here and there. We go golfing a little bit.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, we went
Okay.
golfing last week.
Yeah.
Good weather.
Yeah.
Now, are you guys what? DC? You guys DC kids?
DC,
Yeah.
Iron Horse. I do privates with this guy. He's a Rider alumni. Do one-on-one privates with him.
Okay.
So we're kind of training all over the place.
Now, DC, is that a predominantly upper weight kind of room?
It used to be. I feel like Da Crespo's done a good job of getting lightweight guys
Lightweights,
in there.
okay.
Yeah.
So, there's honestly, I think next year it's going to be more lightweight focused.
Okay. No, I love it. So now, what do you guys, as far as competing in this off season, what are your plans? Anything this summer?
Yeah, I was planning on going to Fargo, but now I'm not. I'm headed up to Northeast Regionals next week. But
Okay.
I'm not going to Fargo. I'm actually headed out to Oklahoma for 3 weeks in the summer to just train with the
That's awesome.
college guys and
That's awesome.
kind of get a feel for them.
What about you?
I'm going to Fargo.
You doing Fargo?
Yeah. I'm already qualified from last year, so I decided not to go to Northeast Regions, but I'm just training, getting better, getting bigger, and then I'm planning on going 113 for that. And I'm going to try to go to like a tournament right before that to get some matches in.
Did you place at Fargo?
Yeah.
You did. Let's see this dude. And again, freshman year, I don't need it. Dude's places everywhere. Take him out to Hawaii, he'll place there too. It doesn't matter. I love it. Okay, awesome. So when is Fargo? That's always what, like end of July?
It's like July 12th through the 17th.
Oh, it's mid-July?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now what do you guys do between when freestyle's officially over, Fargo ends that? When do you guys get into high school mode? Like full tilt, like it's go time.
We have August off. We were still training, but we got fall tournaments, preseason tournaments, and we're kind of just trying to transitions right into season from there. Not much of a break.
Does your coach sit down with the parents or the wrestlers and discuss the schedule? Or does he just make the schedule?
No, he doesn't really talk to us about it. He kind of just tells us, well, we're going to this tournament, that tournament, this tournament. We kind of just say, okay,
Okay.
we're ready.
So let's say, for example, and I'm curious how this works too. Let's just say hypothetically, not every parent on the team can afford airfare here or travel here. Like, so he doesn't take any of that in consideration?
You know, our donors, they're definitely a big
cover-
factor
they-
for our
they
team.
cover- okay.
They help us out a lot.
Okay, yeah, I'm
with
curious.
that.
I'm just
We do a lot of like fundraising.
Okay.
And different
Okay.
things.
okay. When's the last time you looked at your schedule and said,
all the time.
We got a lot of things.
I'm
going on
sure.
our
all the
schedule.
time. I mean,
you guys go everywhere?
Yeah.
that month of December when we're preparing for Beast of the East and Powerade and they're back-to-back
Back-to-back
weeks,
weeks,
it's
yeah.
Like no Christmas.
yeah,
Christmas.
Christmas.
What's
That's,
Christmas?
that's something I've learned in high school. Like, Christmas is not. I don't even get a chance to have fun anymore. It's like going right through Christmas, cutting weight, and getting ready for Powerade.
That sucks.
When you go to college, do you have to do a lot of more press than you, I guess, in high school and stuff? Do you have to worry about media and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, after matches, there's definitely a lot of guys interviewing people.
That's
so,
good practice for you guys.
Yeah,
Seriously,
Yeah.
it is.
especially with like Jersey Sports Zone. That there's a lot of interviews in NJ.com.
Yeah.
People are interviewing high schoolers all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So now, when do you envision yourself a 4-year 125?
I did, but you know, my coach even says like I'm filling out. I could go up to 33, but you know, I definitely see myself at 25 for a couple of years.
Okay. I can see. Yeah, I can see you at 25 for 4 years.
Yeah.
25's for 4. You know, it's not. It's pretty safe to say that college coaches would love a 4-year 125. Mm-hmm. It's got to be the hardest weight to cover. Mm-hmm. I would think.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like the main weight that colleges, you know, try and recruit the
Yeah.
most. That and heavyweight, I heard.
Yeah.
But you know, I talked to a lot of schools, and a lot of them wanted me to be a 125 for life, and that was something I wasn't able to guarantee them. And it's just like a hard thing to dedicate yourself to, because as you get older, as you get bigger, it's gonna be definitely a tougher cut.
Oh yeah.
Now, let's say you guys are both juniors, but let's say you were seniors right now and your career was over. Were you guys happy with what you've done?
No.
No, definitely not.
I think that, you know,
Nah.
a lot of people they think that you know, they say they wouldn't take back a thing with how their high school career ended up. I'd take back so much. I wish I could have done so much more still, and you know, I still have another year to prove it. But
Actually, that's a great question. What would you tell yourself coming into high school now? What advice would you guys give to the new wrestlers coming up who are trying to be hammers like you?
you know, don't take anything for granted. You know, never you know, settle with what you have. You know, never be satisfied, and you know, always strive for more.
Everyone's beatable. Like, if you go out there and give it your all and, like, train for it, you could beat anybody. And, like, don't get down on yourself. Have a good mindset for every single match.
Yeah, you and Sans in the finals, hell of a match. You and Paul in the final, hell of a match. Both of you, they were both good matches. Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. Charlie, I can't say it enough. I mean, what you've done, man, like that whole freshman year thing is I don't know why it intrigues me so much, but it really does. And I hope that even my reassurance to you that is impressive stuff, I hope you take that with you. I mean, because it's very impressive.
I just think it's hard for people who are young to have that kind of vision like he had.
I know.
To sit there and say, you know, I'm going to stick this out. It's going to be worth it. And I think to do that and then to see the result is.
Well, you
such a
see, listen,
payoff.
it's common. Parents say, okay, let's say the parents of really good wrestlers, right? They're 8th graders. Where are we going to go? We're going to commit here. We're going to commit here. Then you get a phone call. Oh, well, somebody's coming here next year.
Yeah.
They scatter like roaches. It's normal. Oh, well, then we're going to go here. Then we're
Right.
going to. He's like, no, I ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And credit to him, too. He could have easily have lost to him in a wrestle-off. You know, let's assume shit happens. Same thing. I ain't going anywhere.
And I'm
It's
sure,
it's the alpha male, like, nope, it's my spot.
I'm sure I know the answer to this question, but I mean, can you guys imagine? Do you think you'd be as good as you are individually without each other?
No, I think we definitely push each other every day.
What did when you spar with him in a room? What drives you nuts about him?
He has a nice underhook. It pisses me off all the time when he gets in. I can't get to any on my offense. It's probably the most annoying thing.
What about this dude?
It's hand fighting.
Hand fighting? Okay, all right, okay,
Snapping me, always on my head,
okay,
moving me around.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I dig it. I like it. Now, when it comes to who's the who whines when you guys cut weight? Who's the biggest whiner?
Probably me.
You whine the most. Okay.
I hate it.
Any you guys have nutritionists or you just do it?
No.
No.
I was planning on hopping on a nutritionist for next year, you know, for fall tournaments to come, but kind of just throughout high school, I've kind of just like disciplined myself and was able to cut weight myself, kind of like know what to do.
Since we got you gentlemen here, is there anybody you would like to shout out that has helped you in your careers? You know, sponsors or trainers or coaches, anything along those lines that come to mind?
Yeah, me and Charlie have been going to this guy, John Wilkins, a REIT. He's a core coach at a REIT training center. He's a great guy. You know, he's been pushing us throughout the off season, helping us get better, get stronger, and big shout out to him for letting us be able to use his equipment and stuff.
Where's he located?
In Sparta, New Jersey.
Sparta. Okay.
Yeah. It's right next to Iron Horse, so we go there and then go to Iron Horse right after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone you got to add?
A lot of people. Like from the start all the way to now, like I think like all the coaches and people that were like that affected me like in a good way and like helped me to be who I am. Yeah. I can't really think of like a singular person. But
Yeah. It's a long journey. What age did you guys start wrestling?
Like 7 or 8.
I was like maybe 5. Like I got my first pair of shoes,
Wow.
but definitely not like every single day. But I got like really addicted to it, and then it started like becoming every single day I'd wrestle. Yeah, I loved it.
Esposito, what nationality is that?
Italian.
I shouldn't say nationality. Okay, Italian. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you had some like Cubano in you or some
No.
Puerto Rican in you. Just
Irish
curious.
and Italian.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know he's
Yeah,
Irish.
it's a big.
McGinty.
Yup.
There's I know you know that I chat with your dad once in a while and
My dad's great.
he is
He loves to talk trash about New Jersey wrestling all the time.
he is the best. He's a lot smaller in person though. Make sure you tell him that. He looks real hulking on Instagram, but you get next to him, he's not that big. I don't know why.
not.
I love your dad. Your dad is he's misunderstood, but he loves you to death, man. He's proud as hell of you. And I don't know your parents, Charlie. So I'm sure they're you were raised right because you're a good kid to me. You know what I mean? You got a lot going for you, bright future, both of you. I just find it interesting that wrestling, I think, is the only sport where you can be best friends with your biggest rival.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the only sport.
I always joke because my son used to play basketball, and we go to the basketball match, and like you'd rub shoulders against somebody in the game, and the two fathers would be at each other's throat, ready to fight. Me, we go to wrestling, and the kid kicks the shit out of my son. I'm like, yo, your kid's good, dude.
Yeah.
Shake his hand.
Yeah.
Say, where you train?
Yeah.
Where you at? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a total different mindset. It really is. Yeah, and I love that. And I also like that there's nobody to blame but yourself. I love that stuff. That's the
Yeah.
one thing of a sport is there's not too much like that. A lot of team sports you can always blame a ref or something else, but wrestling you really got no one else but yourself.
Yeah.
Middle school, I was like always did like other sports in elementary school, and as a wrestler, I was always so selfish. Thought I was a one-man team, and that's pretty much why I stuck with wrestling. It's like I've always like had myself to blame, and I'm really hard on myself, so that was like a big thing. Like why I just wanted to be a wrestler. Didn't really want to have like a team to like rely on.
Do you think that's the biggest part of your drive is you just constantly want to get better?
Yeah.
You're never satisfied?
Exactly. Like I'm never truly satisfied. I'll have some success here and there, and it'll feel good. But at the end of the day, like, there's always more to have and more to achieve.
Would you say that's pretty typical for a wrestler?
Yeah, 100%.
So one more thing I'm curious about too. Now, going to an all-boys school. So how does that affect you guys as athletes? In other words, you don't have the drama of the girls, distracting, I guess. But is it?
I think it's better.
You think it's
like
better? But you can't compare it to anything else.
yeah.
I think it's better.
You can't compare it to anything else either.
I mean, I can see it
You went to
from
middle school, right?
yeah.
True.
I mean,
True.
You kind of just you go to private school. You're really just focused on yourself. You're not really distracted from anything. You're pretty much just surrounded by friends who are there to support you. St. Joe's is a great brotherhood school there.
No, yeah, no doubt.
Everyone's there to lift each other up. There's not much bad blood there. It's a great school.
Yeah, I got you.
There's a bunch of good athletes there, so it's like everyone's pushing each other to be better,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
So, what's your GPA? Don't lie.
Like 3.7.
What's your
About the same.
about the same?
3.7,
Okay.
yeah.
So what is your academic obligation now that you're committed? Do they tell you what you have to maintain, or is that contingent upon anything? Or
No, not
No?
really. I mean, Oklahoma's not that crazy in academics.
Okay.
I think if I were to have gone to an Ivy League school, they would have, pushed. They're not even pushing me to do SATs or anything. They're not even requiring it. You
Okay.
know? some Ivy Leagues, every Ivy League actually requires SATs.
Yeah,
and
SATs are.
other schools as well.
That's like 1999, 2000. No, really, they're not.
yeah.
A lot of. He's right. A lot of schools are. Like, what's an SAT? Huh?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I think that test is. So in other words, you're going to judge my 4 years of high school on one Saturday morning.
That worked out good for me though. I got a really good high SAT score, and I didn't do shit.
Well,
in
you
high
lucked
school,
out.
so
You
it was
lucked
like
out.
it worked out good.
But think how stupid that is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like judging
I know.
his whole career on one match.
yeah,
On one Saturday.
yeah.
They're gonna judge their entire career. It's getting back to public education. We were talking about that last episode. Public education is like, ugh. But no, so that's good. I'm glad that, SJR is challenging you guys academically, getting you ready for college. That's good. Now, where do you see yourself in 10 years? If you had to make that decision now, what are you doing in 10 years?
Like job wise and no
Anything,
clue.
in
Like,
general.
I can't even. I think I'd have to wait till college to really
Okay.
know what I'm going to be.
But
in
what if
10
I
years.
made you give me an answer right now? What is John McGinty doing in 10 years?
I hope something good. I'm not too sure.
Did you ever think about MMA at all? Do you guys ever think about that stuff?
For me, not really.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not much of a fighter.
Right.
Shout Bo Nickel.
Yeah.
You know,
He got beat last night.
yeah,
Yeah, he
he
did.
got knocked out, but
Yeah.
I can never see myself doing that stuff. Getting in a ring.
So do you see yourself still involved in wrestling in 10 years?
Most likely.
Coach,
Yeah.
competing.
I think wrestling will always be a part of me.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna definitely feel weird when I wrestle my last match.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna wrestle again. You don't even realize it. And
Your last match can be your next match.
yeah,
It's sad to say,
Yeah.
exactly.
but that's the perspective of life that you guys have to start to understand as you get older. Your next match isn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, really. I mean, if you look at it that way, it can either be sad or motivating.
Yeah.
Because your next match, you better wrestle like it's your last match, and that's why they say that.
Funny, I got to corner a guy who wound up going to UFC, who was a wrestler at Rutgers, and I remember him always telling me, he's like, the hardest thing I ever did, high school wrestling. He's like, high school wrestling by far the hardest thing we ever did. And he went to Rutgers, he went to the UFC, all that kind of stuff. But high school wrestling, that challenge and all that stuff in there, and then working out was, I guess, especially back then in the late '90s, was just it was insane. Yeah.
Charlie, 10 years, same question.
I'm not really sure. Maybe like, I don't know, something business. I don't know.
Here's the cool thing. Once this goes up, it's digital. It'll be on forever.
Yeah.
You're going to be 50 years old. You can always look back
Yeah.
and watch this. So in 10 years, watch this.
Yep.
You never know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I remember.
Neither of you know what the hell you want to do, but you're going to start to understand why we're asking you these questions now, though.
Yeah.
This is going to be a reference for you guys one day, for all we're talking about. And you can compare yourself, how you matured, how you think, your perspectives, everything. What was important to you now, you're not going to give a shit in 10 years. You're not. There's certain things you're just going to care less. Like I was telling Pete last time. Once you go to college, everything you did in high school is erased. If you continue to do your thing in college, no one's ever going to talk about what you did in high school. Never again. It's like it never happened. Now, is that weird?
It's kind of crazy. Something that my college coaches talked about was, once you get to college, all your high school means nothing.
Means nothing.
It's totally different.
And
ballgame.
you're likely not going to care because you guys are set out to achieve such bigger and better things. I saw you in Atlantic City, and I told you that. I said, bigger things, man. Bigger things are going to happen that you're going to look back on this and say, as awesome as your careers have been, it's probably going to mean nothing to you. And that's the crazy part about it.
Yeah.
It really is. Like if you ever become an NCAA All-American or an NCAA champ, you're not going to give a shit that you lost in the state finals twice. We don't know what you're going to do next year. You're not going to care.
Yeah.
You're not going to care.
Like right
At
now,
all.
I definitely think back to like a lot of losses I have, and I'm like, damn, it always will make me mad. But
It won't.
as I get older, I'll have even like worse losses that I'll
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Pushes you to be better.
What's going to piss you off is your losses you take in college. That'll stick with you, but not your high school stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even like we won the team states this year, and like something we always talk about it's just a memory now. Like
Yeah.
we'll think back to this every year now, but it's crazy. Like we had that day, and it was a really special day for us, and now it's just a memory.
You took them out twice in 3 years. That's impressive.
I think a lot of people doubted us this year.
I did. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Del Barton would beat you guys.
We probably went.
I did.
We went through the matchups like 100 times. Where the swing matches were, who's gonna win where, and it was really just a toss up. It was who's gonna show up that day.
And just because I thought they would beat you, I didn't think you guys were sucked.
Yeah.
I just thought they had a couple more bullets.
Yeah.
That's all. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch. I'm glad you guys are at least getting the opportunity to experience that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love wrestling so much. I wasn't on a state championship team. I wasn't a state caliber wrestler. I didn't start wrestling till late. I didn't have the resources. You know what I mean? I envy you guys. I envy you guys because you guys, you got it made. You got it made. You guys don't even realize it. You know what I mean? Maybe you do, but yeah, I'm happy for you guys. And I've always been big fans. You wrestled my son. I've known your dad for years. I've seen you grow up. Big fans of you guys. Big fans. Yeah.
And still big things coming.
Huge.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
That's phenomenal. Well, this has been another episode of New Jersey Mat Chat. Here with Two Hammers again, and look forward to the next episode. Again, hit us up if you have any stories, anything that's coming up, any type of wrestling story that makes up. Hit him up. Yeah, don't hit me.
Matt 3, JoJo Burke. St. Joe's, Matt Melanie Bergen Catholic. Matt 4, Luke Johnson, Howell, Santino, the Manuel Memorial. Matt 5, Sean Kenny, Christian Brothers, Logan Forgash.